I don't think I see myself as a woman who's done something, out of the way or whatever. I think it's all also it. I would look at myself as using my talent to do whatever I want to do, and enjoying it while I do it. So I just genuinely don't think that it has to be something which we keep aside as something that we need to give for the women or any of those things. Misogyny galore in the industry, but I think that in the world, I won't even call it industry. I work in advertising, communication, probably in marketing. So I probably will be able to only talk about that. Beyond that, yes, also there's a personal life, which is, I think this year is in the center for most of us this year. That just goes on. And, I think our focus on personal life also has increased this year. However, I think as any professional, what we all enjoy is to do whatever we love the most, and which is why we are probably in the profession that we are in. And in fact, I think women also have the advantage of choosing what profession that they want to do, and being presented it, because the whole responsibility of breadwinning is not really on us, right? It is finally a patriarchal society that we live in, and that's how the world is. So, right. That way we can actually pick and choose whatever we want to do, and do it to the best of our ability, and just move on. And if you ask me, women employees also put in their heart and soul into what they do just because of this, because they have already chosen their profession, they like what they are doing, and that's why they're doing it. It's not just because of the salary check which comes to us at the end of the year, end of the month, right? So that's probably what it is. And as I said, I love what I'm doing, whether it's advertising, communication, or media, or marketing, whatever. So I think that's where I am now. I am Ria. So I've been working for about 16 years as a media planning and buying professional, about 10 years with various agencies in India, and for the last 6 years with 2 advertisers. One is ITC and the other is Britannia. Currently, I work with Britannia. What I do is manage the advertising budgets for most of the brands in the company. With the help of an agency, which we have also taken. We are with one of the largest in India. So I am from Kerala now. Kerala, finished my MBA, and that was a very tough year. It was in 2002. So not much in terms of placements, etc. came our way. What I did was I landed in Bangalore. I was staying with a couple of cousins, and I started just walking up and down in MG Road. Started distributing my CVs because nobody was giving me a job. So after about a month, I actually met very accidentally a super senior from my college who was in an agency. So, we just started chatting, etc. And he said, okay, do you want to come and work? Maybe you may not have money. We may not be able to give you a salary because everything is frozen now. But you might want to just come and join. I was like, okay, it definitely beats walking around in MG Road distributing my seat. At least the office has an AC. So that's how I started. And that wasn't an advertising agency. It was in Indiranagar. That agency actually shut shop. But that's how I started. It was fun. I think in a couple of months' time, in fact, in 1 month's time, they actually started giving me a salary, a princely sum of 9,000 rupees per month. But that's how I started. And I think I can only think back and have fond memories of that. And post that, I think it has been easier, because it's always difficult to land that first job. For you to get that first job, I think you really have to want it in your heart, right? It's not about anything else. It's not about hard work, talent, any of those things. You really want something, I think you will get it. And that's what, that's what happened as well. And after the first job, it's much easier because you also pick up skills, you start knowing how to speak to people, how it is, in the work world, how things work, etc. And then, you just start building contacts, you speak to people, and just keep moving wherever you want to. So that's how I started. Never chase money. And this is for the young ones, okay? I think if you're older, yeah, maybe you must chase money. But I think for the young ones, definitely don't chase money. If you have the right experience and if you, showcase the right kind of talent as well as ambition, money is definitely going to come and chase you, right? So that's where it is. And I think the extent of money that you get in your bank account is definitely proportional to the kind of ambition and, the kind of vision that you have for yourself. So, it's not about talent. It's not about anything else. As I said earlier, it's all about what you have in your heart. What do you want to do? And, if you have that, I think you can just go ahead, get the right experience, because that is very, very important. Because unless you know what you want, you'll never get the money that you deserve, going forward. Maybe, the first year, second year, you'll really crib whatever, but still get a lot of money. But the right experience really makes you a much better person. And the money just is incidental, and it'll just keep coming to you anyway. 2002 still had computers. Laptops were not so available to everybody other than probably a branch head or any of those things. Okay. But otherwise, computers, emails, all of them were still there. So I used to work in a media agency. Media softwares were still there. Yeah. So, we could figure out what was happening in the TV world, what are the ratings, etc. So all those things, absolutely not an issue. Possibly the printer was dot matrix rather than laser printers now. But that's about it. So I think from that perspective, it was not too much of pen and paper. But I would say the media scenario, and that's what we can see right now, right? The media scenario has changed so drastically. And if you ask me what the change between 2002 and 2012 is not the same as 2012 to 2021. 2002 to 2012, not too different. It's, digital is slowly creeping in, etc. You didn't have to keep, upskilling yourself. Right. But if you look at 2012 and, even 2015, 16 onwards, so it's been like extremely accelerated growth, right? So, and digital has taken such a huge chunk of our time as consumers, as regular people, and also for advertisers, digital has taken a huge chunk. So that is what you can see. And I think that's a last 7-8 years accelerated growth that you can talk about, really. And right. The growth was probably much slower earlier, but right now the scenario is changing probably every quarter, if not every month. I don't make products and I don't make advertisements. So my job is probably to figure out how to spend. I think I'm in the right place. That's what I do. So I don't think I can tell you how a product is envisaged and how it reaches a market, etc. So I think I've been I've been given a very easy task, because what do I sell? I sell very mass products. What I need to do is to make sure, first of all, that my products are available to the consumers, and after that, it's about making sure that everybody gets to know about it. The good part now is that there is a lot of technology which will actually tell you that, so whether it is about TV or a print or radio or even on digital, how many people you are reaching out to, right? And, you can figure out that these are the number of people that you've reached out to. And hence, this is the kind of returns that you can get. And this is something which we can do over and over a period of time. And there is a lot of knowledge bank, which is available in our system itself. We know that, if we spend X amount of money on this medium, I will get Y amount as a return, right? And that's what we do. So while it could be very tricky, I think with the help of technology and with a lot of probably experience, it is not as challenging as we can think that it is, right? So that's broadly what I do. If you ask me, I think in the first few years of your career, a mentor is very, very important, whether it's your manager, supervisor, or any of those things, right? Because what you learn in colleges or school are never going to prepare you for what is going to happen in a real life situation, right? So during that time, a mentor or a manager who's understanding and who understands your positives and negatives and help you grow your positives and maybe hone your negatives to at least transfer it into a positive is very, very, very important. So and that also comes from experience, because you can never pick your manager. Even if you pick during an interview, that guy might actually turn out to be somebody else. So what you do need to do is make sure that you don't settle for anything which you're not comfortable with. But otherwise, having the right mentor is very, very important for you to have the right experience to go forward. So I would say inspiration strikes you at any time, whether you're watching the news or reading whatever is happening in the US or Europe, as you rightly said. It can also strike you when you go to a supermarket and you see, people actually picking up products, and that guy has actually not even seen that product before, but he's just picking it up, to try. Right. And then, you can actually see how or what makes him try these things. And, it's always interesting and fun to strike up conversations with these guys, that you meet on the road, and, understand what they like and what they don't like, etc. Not necessarily about the products. You can also talk about what happens in their house, how are their media habits, because, it's that actually helps us plan our media as well. What do they do? And everybody says that I'm on the phone all the time. So, what is it that they do on the phone? Because there's only so much information or data that is available to you regarding the digital ecosystem. So, I'm always on the lookout to, understand what all of us, our peer groups, or, whoever that we meet are doing online, which I think is something which you will never get from a book or reading up anywhere. Also, while I do say that, we should look at US or Europe, etc., to see where it's all going to. India as a market is so different and, so diverse that there's a limit to how much we can actually replicate anything over here, right? It's always going to be, understanding your consumers, and, unless you understand the Indian that is in you and around you, I don't think you will be able to successfully do a marketing campaign or an advertising campaign. So unfortunately, there's no straight answer for that. I don't think there is a handbook or a playbook for something like that. There's always, and let me also tell you, it's never a 50-50 chance, because there is a lot of research and understanding and analysis which goes behind a campaign or a product or any of those things before we actually launch it. Because, these are all expensive propositions, right? We can't take a huge chance on any of these things. So there is a consumer marketing insights team for most advertisers who actually do all the number crunching, all the analysis, etc., to figure out what is the right to success for any of the brands or a campaign or any of these things, right? So that's where it is. So, and before we get into a campaign, we of course put down what is the key performance indicator for that particular campaign. And I would say that, if your preparation is right, your campaign has every chance of being a success, unless there is, external factors which you really couldn't have, predicted. But otherwise, it shouldn't be two chances, right? So so that's how I would look at it. 2020, right, as a year, has seen advertising expenditure in India shrink by about 20%, which is huge, unprecedented, unheard of at any given point in time. So if you look at it, the advertising industry has been increasing at a CAGR of about 13 to 15% every year, and you're talking about a a drop of 20%. Huge drop. In fact, we are expecting 2021 to actually accelerate growth and get back most of it. But even then, 2021 looks like it's going to be equivalent to 2019, right? So it's almost like we've lost 2 years of advertising expenditure growth. If you look at any of the media, right, whether it's TV, print, outdoor, etc., all of them have had a degrowth. TV is one of the lowest in terms of degrowth because it degrew only by about 11%. Digital, on the other hand, and while it's part of media, but I would say it's because it's emerging media, we can always treat it a little specially. So digital, on the other hand, is the only one who's seen a slight improvement this year, maybe about 2 to 3% growth, etc. So that is how it has changed. 2021, we are hoping that it will go back to at least the 2019 levels and then, continue the growth. And again, in 2020, if you look at the industries which have gathered momentum, so it's not like all industries where it was a wipeout for all industries. So you look at it, whether it's e-com, edutech, entertainment, gaming apps, all of these have seen amazing and tremendous growth. So these are the industries which actually have cashed in on the pandemic. FMCG, I think, has just managed to survive. A lot of the FMCG companies like foods, etc., has done okay this year, but the rest of them, I think, are still on the brink, right? So that's what has happened. Now, if you keep aside all these, numbers and the trends and category, etc., I think even if you look at communication, 2020 was a very unique year for communication, right? So it started with a lot of public health, public hygiene, awareness, kind of. All of them actually cashed in on this. And I think over here, I would say media owners also played a huge role because there were a lot of attractive packages for anybody who will do the public awareness kind of messaging, right? So whether it is about social distancing, wearing masks, hand sanitizer, washing hands, etc. So I think big thanks to the media owners to make sure that, while this is nothing to do with a particular brand, the whole awareness piece was really huge, right? Last year. The next one was, I would say more in the brand space, because the brands were actually giving what consumers could do with what they had in surplus. What did the consumers have in surplus last year? It was time, right? Content initiatives by a lot of brands, whether it is about, cooking recipe videos, DIYs, home improvement, parenting tips, education tips, all of those things, right? All of them actually came about, in fact, cookery shows, if you ask me, everybody from a Surf Excel to a Tata Sky to Britannia cheese to everybody actually went in and did all these things, right? So that was the other shift, if you ask me, from in communication, right? I would say the next one would be about celebrating the unsung heroes, right? That is also another one which you would remember, right? I mean, at least I think again a lot of brands would have gone out and said, this one is the one who's bringing some happiness. This one has gone above and beyond whatever his call of duty is. So basically, celebration of COVID heroes. And how did that help the consumer mindset? I think consumers also had a lot of optimism and happiness when they see that, there are people like that, and two, even though they are not Bollywood guys or A-lister celebrities, they're actually being appreciated as well. If you ask me, that is another big bucket of communication. I think it was a challenge. So when we heard about it in the beginning, it was I think we welcomed it with euphoria, because it was a lot of family time, and when all of us are working and going to school, etc., it becomes very difficult for us to spend time with each other. So I think the first few days or even few weeks, I think, was amazing. I think the reality struck us when the kids were not going to school, So when so till then, whether it was April, May, it was still a lot of fun. We would take our time out from our work from home schedules and spend some time with them, etc. But children not going to school is probably one of the not so nice things about the whole work from home, learn from home situation, right? So because the children are not going to school only to learn about your science or social studies, biology and all of those things. They are also going, a large part of what we want from school is to impart the social skills, working with people, about collaboration, about teamwork, about making friends, about talking random things, right? So that's what is very, very important, and that I felt was missing so miserably this year. And I feel the kids can't take this year back ever. That actually stops a child's progress. So they might have learned a lot of maths and science, etc., which is important, but that is it was extremely decelerated, and I don't think it will be in the same level, right? You've actually lost a year's growth. So when you go to school next year, hopefully you'll never start at where you stopped. You could have actually also come down a little bit. So it's going to be an uphill task for them. So I think we all got used to it. Then also came to peace with the whole situation, and I think we were all quite thankful that we can actually sit from home and still work, and we don't have to stress too much about anything else. I think 2021 has brought its own share of optimism, if you ask me. I think the last phase of the COVID stress, if you ask me, was the December, Jan, Feb, where people started opening up. Our offices also started opening up, etc. It was probably the whole news about vaccination, right? It actually gave a lot of optimism to the people of the country. Even if a lot of us are still not eligible for vaccinations, the end is near. At some point, this is actually going to end. Okay, you may not want to be. You don't have to be really petrified of COVID as much, once you have the whole, vaccination plan in place. So, if you ask me, that is what has opened this year. Right, and the whole, that itself, I think, has given a lot of momentum to the industry. Whether it's business, sales, etc. That I think, and that kind of optimism is really helping all of us. I think, as personally as well as professionally. Our nature itself will keep us up, right? So. Like, for example, I probably am a micromanager, so I really would like to make sure that things are done in place. So, done and in place in the right manner. So, if things don't happen in a certain manner and in certain timelines, etc., whether I have the talent for it or not, I'll start doing it on my own. And that's probably what I do in the night. And, that's, and if I cannot find a solve or crack something, I genuinely won't be able to sleep well. So that's what it is. So, you can call it work. So work keeps me up at night. Yeah.
Right.
Anything which tugs at the strings of your heart, right, makes you feel that that's what you need to do, right? So whether it is about cooking for my family, or giving a haircut to my sons, right, or whether it is about doing what I believe is my personal best at work, it's all about what you want to do, and you want to give your best during that time. When other people around you also, when people do something from the bottom of their heart with all their might and energy, I feel that person has done it, and then and so should I, right? So that's where it is, right? And even in your personal life, whether you look at my mom, right, and my dad, they really didn't have another life other than their kids, right? So, even now, right, they'll call and, make sure that everything is okay, including clothes, which gets shipped to my house. They still take care of their children. So, I think when you're at the receiving end of, such inspirational, selfless, love or energy, that is what you want to give back as well, right? In however, in whatever scale that you can, right? So that's what I would call inspiration. I would say don't do anything differently, right? Let life take you where it wants to take you, rather than you stressing about the smaller things or the bigger things in life. Things work out well for people who, I feel, for people who give out good karma. So maybe, that's all you have to make sure that you do in future, right? Just try to be your best, try to be good to people, try to make sure that people also don't have too much hard feelings for you, etc. Of course people will, because that's how nature is. Your nature may not gel well with another person, etc., but at least make sure that you don't stress out other people. So basically live and let live, and I think life is not going to be so bad. And have the right expectations. When you move forward, figure out where your strengths are, your positives are, your negatives are. Keep those as your objectives or your targets, etc., and then move towards it. It's not like you don't have to think about it, but you don't have to obsess about it either. It'll just happen if you just move in the right direction. That's it. The most important thing in life is family. There are so many other things which will keep coming and going. There will be a lot of friends also will be with you, but I would say after all the other stuff, whether it is about money, whether it's about ambition, buying things, etc., at the end of it, if you have family and if you have the right health, these are the two most important things in your life. So, compromising these two are definitely no. Everything else is something which you can gain, you can lose just as easily, and then move forward. But family and health are the two important things in life. I would say positive individualism, right? So do what you believe is right for you, and make sure that what you do is also right for the next individual. So that's all you need to do. It's all about getting energy and giving energy. Make sure that what you do is right for you. I'm not saying morally or I'm not taking a high ground on any of those things, but do what is right and make sure that you're not hurting or harming another person. That's it. And I think that itself will make the world a better place. It's that simple. I would say from my current boss, who actually is not a very talkative person, he doesn't talk much, etc. So in fact, for one of the events, all managers were supposed to write something about their reportees, right? So everybody wrote like paragraphs. Okay, I won't say paragraphs, but at least maybe 200, 300 words, etc. for everybody. And against my name, there was like this small, tiny blurb. Right? I was like, oh my God, it is so embarrassing, right? But what he wrote was Riya in control of life. That's it. Right? So that's it. Right? So while everybody else wrote so many other things, I felt that, I don't think I'm in control of my life, but it is so nice to hear that he believes that I'm in control. Okay. Not just, okay. He was of course talking about it from a professional context, but that I felt was probably one of the best that I could have received. I just want to have dinner with one person, right? I think I would choose my paternal grandfather, which I haven't seen, but I've heard so much about. He was supposed to be one of the nicest gentlemen of that time, possibly, who was always rooting for equal rights between his daughters and sons. And, can you imagine this happening in the early 20th centuries, right? Whether it's about education, whether it is about, simple things like, space in the house or any of those things. So if his sons got something, he will make sure that the daughters got so much or maybe more, right? So, I would say that itself gives him maybe about 10 extra steps high, above in my mind, because, that itself shows how progressive he was and, how much he knew about the world even at that time, right? So I think it would have been great if he was here now. I think he would have taught the world a few things with his wisdom and his foresight, etc. So I think I would love to meet him and, figure out what makes him tick. I would say advertising or media work, right? Working in advertising or media agencies, right? So it is going to be a lot of hard work, right? A lot of hard work, a lot of grit. You need to have a lot of self-motivation. You need to really be on top of things. You need to make sure that you work with others collaboratively, etc. And you ensure that you stay true to what you believe is right. So especially in a media scenario where there is a lot of data and you don't have to do a lot of things subjectively. You can defend everything that you recommend with numbers, etc. I think honing your skills in numbers and understanding numbers, making the numbers talk to you, etc., are the things that you need to, inculcate in yourself when you're doing that. I think the myth is that people in advertising start drinking at 10 a.m. in the morning and they're always drinking. I would say no. We start drinking only at 5 p.m. Right? So that's the myth I would like to debunk. They can write to me at riya.joshua@gmail.com, riya.joshua@gmail.com. I think it's a great program which actually brings in a lot of hope and confidence to women, right? And today is the World Equal Paycheck Day, and I don't know if we all know much about it. It's supposed to be a day which celebrates the fact that men and women are supposed to have equal paychecks. So there was a study recently which said that if a man earns $1, a female earns about 82 cents, right? But if you actually even split it further, an Asian woman probably gets about 87, a white woman about 82, the Hispanics maybe in the 60 range, different sections of people getting different paychecks. So if you ask me, women empowerment is not really going to be a geographical thing. It is also about empowering every race, irrespective of their gender, etc. So I think we have a long way to go, whether it is about women empowerment or whether it is about interracial collaboration. So if you ask me, these are programs, and I think programs like yours need to flourish, and it needs to keep going forward, take on much more causes which really matter to people and really will change people's lives, and that's the only way we can actually make it better.